Introducing the all-new Corolla.
Hendrik won't do anything because he's a dumb Chuukese. This is an example of a statement overheard from one of the witnesses in Hendrik Eveluk's racial discrimination complaint against his former supervisor at the Superior Court of Guam, Jackie Cruz. Ms. Cruz appears to be disgusted if Mr. Eveluk so much as touches something like a pen in the office. This is another quote from another one of the witnesses. PNC reviewed 9 signed affidavits from witnesses in Eveluk's discrimination case. Out of the 9 witnesses, 6 supported Eveluk's claims. There were numerous examples given of racially disparaging remarks made in the office against Chuukese, and Eveluk was the only Chuukese in the office. Many felt that Cruz did not like Eveluk purely because of his race. Only 3 seemed to side with Mrs. Cruz. However, even the 3 that seemed to side with Mrs. Cruz all agreed that she either disliked Eveluk or treated him differently. One of the 3 even admitted to feeling uncomfortable at first with the way that Cruz treated Eveluk. All of these witness affidavits were taken into account and submitted as part of the review committee's investigation. The report was submitted to the administrator of the court, but the administrator of the court did nothing. It's not clear why the administrator sat on the case, but one of the witnesses had an idea. One witness stated in an affidavit that, "I believe that Mrs. Cruz has something over the administrator of the courts because nothing is ever resolved concerning Mrs. Cruz's unwanted actions over subordinates." Eveluk had no choice but to take it upon himself to submit a letter to the Judicial Council requesting a hearing. The council then referred him to undergo mediation, which he agreed to do, until he felt that the mediator was on the court side.
Unfortunately, to me, there was no mediation because everything that I requested was not granted. He told me, is that, well, this cannot be done by the court. In the back of my mind, I was questioning, why would he be able to tell what they would have in mind?
Do you think the mediator was acting more in the interests of the court rather than in the middle, as they should be mediating between the two interests? You feel he was more acting in the interest of the court?
Absolutely, because they paid for him. The court paid for him to do that. Wouldn't that be bias? I think so.
Since the mediation didn't work, Eveluk then took the case to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in Hawaii, but by then he had missed the deadline to file the discrimination complaint. However, shortly after his initial complaint was filed, Cruz filed a counter-complaint, and the EEOC found that this counter-complaint was retaliatory in nature. The case was then turned over to the U.S. Department of Justice.
The U.S. Department of Justice issued, to me, a notice of right to sue that is against the judiciary of Guam.
At the time, he had the support of the Guam Federation of Teachers. Eveluk says GFT's former president, Matt Rector, promised him that they would use off-island attorneys to sue Guam's courts. But Rector left, and Eveluk feels his support left as well.
It's very strict in terms of time frame. It gives only 90 days after the date I receive that notice of right to sue. So I wasn't able to do it. First of all, I don't have money. Number 2, the Guam Federation of Teachers that was supposed to help me, they dropped the ball.
So Hendrik says he was left with no support from the GFT, who simply told him that he didn't qualify for their legal services.
When the new president came in, they dropped me in the middle of the darkness of the tunnel when I started seeing the lights at the end. I was told I was not qualified. And my question is, I keep paying and I'm not qualified.
So now Eveluk has no real recourse. There's nothing that can be done legally to resolve the matter. He's no longer working at the courts. Meanwhile, his former supervisor, Jackie Cruz, is up for an award tomorrow for integrity.
I was just fed up when I came to understand that the court is going to make an award to the person that did the discriminatory treatment and acts, including retaliation, against a human being, not an animal.